Hello, my friend. In this video, I wanted to share some very exciting news with you. I have now officially quit my normal full-time job and I'm going full-time with music. So there are two reasons that I'm making this video. One is I want to obviously express some extreme gratitude because if you're watching this video, whether it's you've watched another one of my videos, like something, anything at all, the smallest little things, like you have no idea how that helps any music creator keep going, and you probably experienced this yourself. So I definitely want to say thank you so much for allowing me to get to this point. Second thing is I wanted to kind of give a few tips and kind of share a bit of my experience of how I got to this point. So hopefully you can take something from this and eventually also kind of get to this exact same point, because I think speaking for probably literally any single person out there making music or maybe even doing anything creative, but like this is kind of the ultimate goal, like getting to the point where you can just only work on music or music related kind of things and, you know, not have the 9-to-5 job and be working for the man and all that kind of stuff. At least for me personally, like ever since I started playing guitar when I was 13 years ago, when I was 13 years old, which is actually more than 13 years ago, it's about 15, 17 years now, because I'm 30. That's the only thing I've ever wanted. I wanted to, at first it was more play in bands, and then it was kind of produce, and it's evolved and changed along the way, and it's definitely a lot different than I thought it was going to be, but it's literally the only thing I've ever wanted, and I am so excited to get to this point. So now the big question really is, how did I do this? So if you've been following the channel for a little while, you know that about a year ago now, my music kind of popped off, started getting in a whole bunch of editorial playlists. At this point now I have about 4 million streams. And so if you didn't know, about 1 million streams is roughly about a month's worth of income. So it's about between $4,000 and $5,000. So obviously that's a pretty good income stream, and I was obviously very happy to have that, but I think I kind of took it as a very realistic approach where I knew that most of my streams were coming from editorial playlists, and I knew for a fact that it wouldn't be forever that my music would be in those editorial playlists. So over the course of the last year or so, I was in these playlists for a lot longer than I thought I was going to be. I thought maybe it'd be at most maybe a few weeks or so, but I had a couple that were in there for months and months and months, which honestly I'm very grateful to be able to have that. But I knew very well that those income streams would be kind of going down over time, even though I'd be releasing new songs and I got another editorial playlist. You can't always get in those huge like 1 to 2 million follower playlists that are going to really push those stream counts up and then bring those royalty counts up and be able to like kind of rely on that money. So really the biggest thing, one of the biggest first things I did was I diversified my revenue streams. So obviously there was the Spotify royalties that come in, and they still come in. I make about $500 to $1,000 a month from that. But I also started teaching what I'm doing here. So on YouTube here, I make nothing from my understanding. I don't make any ad revenue or anything like that. I might eventually, and I'm sure it's going to be like $30 a month or something like that. But what I did do was I also started writing articles on my website, bestfriendsclub.ca, and from there I started ranking articles on the Google search engine, that kind of thing. And now at this point, about 70 to 80,000 new page views come in each month. From there, there's some ads on that website. There's also affiliate links, so you can sign up for like say DistroKid or other products that I actually use and love. People can sign up for them, and I get a little bit of a kickback. So all of these things have kind of diversified my revenue streams, and as the editorial placements have been going down, these other more like, I guess, like kind of teaching revenue streams have gone up. And there's two big reasons that I wanted to do this. And one is kind of what I just mentioned is you don't really want to be beholden to only one revenue stream. So you might have noticed this, like, and I don't want to be kind of a dick, but like you've probably seen a bunch of like main YouTubers, like YouTube is their only thing. And as YouTube has like different changes in the algorithm and all that kind of stuff, you may have noticed that they've started to kind of like straight up, they've started to like beg on camera, like, oh, the YouTube algorithm changes and this and that, and please sign up for my Patreon, and oh, YouTube, oh, like, I hate to be that brutal, but like that's kind of what happens when you're beholden to only one revenue stream, especially when it's on someone else's platform. YouTube can change the rules, Google can change the rules, Facebook can change the rules, and to have your entire livelihood based on just one stream like that, straight up is stupid. It's just so stupid, and I didn't want to go about that. My kind of pursuit to going full-time with music in that way. So the second reason is, personally at least, I don't feel like you want to be beholden to a creative revenue stream also. So obviously, if you're able to keep up, like say having 1 million streams a month or so with Spotify, between the royalties you get there and like say something you get from Songtrust from the music publishing royalties, that's a good like $4,000 or $5,000 a month, which you can definitely live off of. But I don't think that's I think you wouldn't want to have that as your only revenue stream regardless. And the reason is because it's a creative revenue stream. So what happens if you start losing those editorial placements and then you start maybe panicking a little bit, and then you start releasing music that you don't really believe in, or music that you think would only just trigger algorithms, or music because you don't even love it, but you're just doing it because it's a job now. Like, personally, I don't want to be having my only revenue stream being something creative. I like having that revenue stream. It's obviously nice to make money from music, but music is more of a passion for me. If it didn't happen in the way that it happened, where I'm getting millions of streams from Spotify playlists and all that kind of stuff, like, I still would be releasing music regardless of this. And I want to keep that going forever for myself and for the actual fans that are listening to the music. So those are kind of the two main things. I think you do want to diversify your revenue streams, and you want to make sure you don't have just one, and you don't want to have it be just one creative kind of revenue stream. You don't want to be making decisions based on money, or at least that's the way I like to go about it. Second big reason why I got to this point is I've worked a full-time job for the last 6 or 7 years, like a pretty decent paying full-time job. For those that didn't know, I was the VP of marketing at a tech startup in Toronto, and it was nice because of two main things. One is obviously it wasn't music, so I spent a lot of my time daydreaming about music, but it was still marketing related, so I was able to learn a lot of different skills, and I'm super grateful to have that opportunity, and then learn things on that job and then apply them to music. So for example, a big way that I was able to trigger the algorithm was by running Facebook ads, and I primarily learned how to run Facebook ads through that job. So obviously that's a reason why I think it's important to be having some kind of full-time job. But the second reason is it provided just stability and obviously financial stability throughout the last 5, 6, 7 years of my life, and allowed me to have extra income that I could use to invest in my music career, whether it's Facebook ads or spending money on building a website or anything like that. Having that money always there has been super duper helpful. There's no stress about my finances. There's no stress when, say, I drop $200 on a Facebook ads campaign or something when I was first starting and it completely sucks. It hurts, but at least it's not super detrimental because it's coming from a full-time job. And I think that's super important and something I would definitely recommend. Work that full-time job. Allow yourself to budget in a way where you can take some of that and invest it in your music career. I think that's honestly one of the better ways. Of course, I think a lot of the old romanticism is quit your job early and just go out there and make it happen and good things will happen. Sure, that could happen, but I think there's a smarter approach to do it. I think especially in today's day and age, especially if you can do remote work and figure out a lot of different creative ways to carve out your time. I think you can do both and you can have it all, and maybe it'll just come at a different time than you were expecting, but I think it's a pretty smart way to go about it. It's what I did, and I would definitely recommend it as well. And lastly, I wanted to mention a third point, and one thing is, and really ties in with the previous point, is I've been very, very aggressive with budgeting my time and my money. So it's been very stressful in the last 6 months in particular, where things have been really popping off for me. It's felt like I've been working at least 3 jobs. So I have my normal full-time job, then I'm releasing new music and keeping up with social engagement as best I can on that front, and then as well as things like YouTube videos and new articles, and I built out a course and started collecting emails and sending out daily or weekly emails. It's been intense as heck. So to get to this point, I had to really budget my time and really budget my money and try to do that in the best way possible. And I would definitely recommend you do the same as well. Simple thing that you can do is obviously you can create a budget for yourself, and you want to start by taking stock of how much you're spending each day, each week, each month, and seeing how much money you have come in, and kind of cut out the stupid shit, basically, is I think is the best way to start. Too many Ubers, Uber Eats, ordering food, fast food, if you can make food yourself, all those little things that, if it doesn't spark too much joy in your life, switch it out and spend that money on Facebook ads, or I would even spend it on trainings. I would spend it on things that you could actually start improving your music career today. The other thing is doing the exact same thing with your time, having a look at what you do in a day. When do you wake up? When do you go to sleep? Are you spending, 6 hours after work just watching Netflix? Cut that out. Like, if it's not super important to you and you can handle it, like, cut it out. I barely watch movies. That's just kind of my thing. I don't really care for that kind of stuff. I'd rather be spending it on something that I'm way more passionate about, and obviously took a while to pay off, but it's paid off and I'm pretty happy about that. So that's something I would definitely recommend. And lastly, I just kind of want to go over what's next. So obviously, it's going to be freeing up quite a bit of my time. So there's a lot of things going on in this head that I've wanted to work on for quite a bit of time. So I want to give you kind of an idea of what more you can expect from me going forward. So first, on the music side, where I'm releasing music as Best Friends Club, obviously one thing is there's going to be more music. I'm going to have more time to actually just spend creating music, and whether it's more like rough unreleased stuff, or I think spending a bit more time on my release tracks. Very excited to be doing that. Another thing is I really want to spend more time building my community and engaging with, I guess, like, it always feels weird calling them fans, but the people who listen to my music, and engaging with people a little bit more. One thing that got really compromised over the last year or so, as things have been getting really intense juggling everything, is ruthless at replying to comments. Like, I'm sure if you look at any of my YouTube comments, I probably have replied to none of them. My Instagram DMs is like a graveyard of unreplied messages. And honestly, one awful thing, and it's one of those things where when you're pursuing something like this, there are sacrifices. I've been really bad at getting back to friends and family and loved ones, and I'm excited to be able to free up some of this time and mental energy to, support my community and engage with not just fans and listeners and people in the industry and all that kind of stuff, but also like my actual friends and loved ones. And lastly, two other things on the music side is a lot of experiences that I've wanted to kind of attach to my releases instead of just like releasing them on Spotify and driving people over to Spotify. I have some creative ideas for experiences that I want to be attaching to that. And then another big thing is playing live. So one thing that I do like to do is DJ, and I do like to also play with like the push 2 and that kind of stuff. And I've been doing what I call on my Instagram side of things, hybrid sets, which is combining DJ stuff, so you can play songs that people know, but also kind of do live remixes on the fly, or incorporate any of your own stuff, do like kind of live mashups on the fly and that kind of cool stuff. So I want to start doing that live. I'm really excited to be doing that on the music side as well. Then in terms of Best Friends Club, more on this like teaching kind of side, obviously first thing is more content. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing more videos on YouTube. For me, I think my Achilles heel is video content creation. It takes a lot of energy for me to create a video and edit it and schedule all that stuff, but definitely I'll be doing more writing. I think that's where my forte is. So there'll be more blog articles, but in particular, I think the thing that you might find interesting is I'm going to be exploring different tactics. So I'll obviously be continuing to create content around Spotify and how to do well on Spotify in a bunch of different ways with Facebook ads, and I'm looking into things other than Facebook ads in particular is one thing that I'm exploring, because it's the same thing with diversifying the revenue stream. I feel like you shouldn't be beholden to any one tactic. Facebook ads is something that comes and goes and changes all the time, and it seems to be only getting worse at the moment, so I think it's important to diversify that. So I will be dedicating my time to exploring that, but also things outside of Spotify in general, so things like growing a fan base and building a community. I don't want to reveal too much because I'm just getting started with this kind of like research and whatnot, but as I usually do things, I'm going to just be, as I research things and discover new things, I'll be dropping new videos and dropping new articles and doing how I've always been doing, giving away everything for free. Nothing's going to be hidden behind a course or anything like that. That's kind of how I prefer to go about doing things. And so that kind of sums it up. Again, very excited to get to this point. Only thing I've ever wanted, and I can't thank you enough for helping me get to this point. Very excited about what the future holds in store. Lots of really cool things in the pipeline. If you want to, see this stuff as it comes up, make sure you like and subscribe and all that good stuff. There's also a checklist that I've created, and I've mentioned in other videos, but there's a checklist that you can check out in the link in the description. It's like the 7 steps that I usually follow to release any song on Spotify. It's what I use to get the big bad streams that I've gotten so far, and it's what I still use to this day to kind of just streamline things and make it go quicker. One thing I do want to mention is I'm constantly updating this checklist, and it's very interactive. So instead of just like 7 steps, you can unfurl each step and it'll explain why that step is important and how you can do it with link outs to other resources to complete that step. In addition to that, one thing that I'm very excited about is when it comes to say like the smart music links, the link in bio pages, there's a full free course in the checklist now. And also when it comes to setting up Facebook ads, I'm soon going to be adding in a completely free start to finish Facebook course in there as well. Completely free. I think that information should be publicly available, so I'm going to be adding that in as well. It may already be in there if you check it out right now, so definitely do that. That's probably the best way that I could help you in your career, so definitely check out that checklist. Other than that, hopefully you found this video useful and this experience has maybe inspired you and given you something to work on and work towards as you try to do this awesome thing as well. And thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video, my friend. Have a good one.